Hey, everybody, this is John Franklin Reviewer, and I'm here with a game review. Okay, so let's just kind of jump right into it here. It is Devil May Cry. I got the first three on the HD collection through Amazon for like less than 10 bucks. That wasn't bad. So like I said, let's just jump right into the game here. So what exactly is the first one all about? Well, it's about your main character, Dante. He owns a business, which is pretty much demon killer. And the thing is this young lady named Trish who actually walks into the office. They get into a little bit of a fight, and then he ends up taking her case and says, "Sure, I'll go kick some asses and take some names with these demons and all that kind of stuff." Now, before I continue, I do want to mention and give you a warning: there will be some spoilers throughout the game. More the ending than anything, but just so you know, you've been warned. Okay, so to kind of continue that, they end up going to this creepy castle, and Dante's like, okay, so this is where I got to start and all that. And pretty much that's where the whole thing takes place. There are sometimes you go outside the castle, but you're pretty much around that perimeter of that castle, really. And I kind of like that whole, almost like one kind of building and maybe a little bit outside and that's it kind of thing. And I really enjoyed it for what that was there. So get into what I really like. Let's talk about Dante himself. I love Dante. I love the design of him here. You know, has a sword in the back, got his two guns ready to take you out and all that. And I really like him. You know, great, I like his backstory. I like him. He's definitely a very likable guy. He's funny when he needs to be. I like his one-liners, his quips and all that. He's serious when he needs to be serious, which is really cool on that. So he has a balance. It's a serious action game with a little bit of humor throughout, which I think is really cool, and I like that. And the other human is Trish. Now, it's kind of a mixed bag with her. I think that she's a cool character when you see her. Makes me laugh that she wears glasses at night. It's like Trinity from the Matrix and all that there. I like the design of her. I like, again, I like some of her lines. I like her story to a point. Really enjoy some of the stuff that I see, but you don't see her a whole lot. But when you do maybe the first half of the game, it's really cool. Second half, we'll get to that later. So anyways, this is an action game, as I mentioned, but it's also, in a way, it could be kind of a horror action game. I really like the creepiness of the castle. I think it's really cool there. There's a pirate ship scene, not a whole lot to talk about, but still, pirate ships could be very creepy in its own way, and I really like that there, too. I like some of the monsters you got to take on. Like some of the ones I could think of right now, you got to take on like the marionettes. I really think they're pretty cool. You got some giant spiders you got to take on, which some of them could just be a pain in the ass, I guarantee. If you played the game, you may understand what I'm going through and what other people probably have gone through too, and stuff like that. A bunch of other demons you got to take on and all that, which I really, really like on that there. So anyways, to kind of continue on the positives here, I got to talk about this one particular weapon. I forget the name of it here, but I like to call it the flaming boxing gloves. I really like it whenever you finally get to them. It's pretty much a badass weapon. I really like it. Again, if you play this game, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You might be screaming at the screen, oh, this is what it's called, like, shit, kind of thing. But I just can't think of it at the moment here. Another thing I have to put in the positive, I don't think a lot of people would do this, is the missions, the short missions for me. I like them. A lot of these missions for a new guy like me or someone who's trying to get back into gaming again, I like the missions. The missions didn't take like an hour and all that kind of stuff. Like each one takes like an hour to get through. No, it was one of these things where like the missions, a lot of them are like 10 minutes or less. Some of them are like 15 minutes or less. So I really like the short missions. Again, some people might think of that as a positive. Some people might think of it as a negative. And then the final positive that I want to talk about is actually at the very end, the last cutscene here, where once Dante kills your last boss in the first game here, Dante and Trish, so yes, she does actually make it there, that they jump into this plane and they got to shoot their way out of the basement of the castle, and they get in, they get out of the castle. Trish is looking up. She loves the sky. It's very blue. It's very beautiful to her and all that kind of stuff. And there was a line that she says in there. I'm not going to say it right and all that, but she talks about that she's going to be Dante's sidekick and all that kind of stuff, and she's very proud of being that. He just kind of looks away and rolls her eyes, which I thought was very funny in my opinion there. Now moving on to the negatives. The first negative I want to talk about, just to get this out of the way, is And they're only in it a few times in the game here, but they're fucking annoying to me that I feel like they didn't even need to be in this game. There's these skulls that you got to take on, you know. So I'm not a big fan of the skulls that you got to take on, but you got to take them on. There's like always at least one of the every time you got to take a skull on, you take on like 6 of them. There's always at least one of them that always does that whole like real like makes that really loud noise and spits like, you know, some kind of fog or some kind of smoke in your face and all that there. But they're very easy to kill and all that, like most of them, especially if you do this on easy mode. But it's not exactly, I don't know, they're just a nuisance, and I'm not a big fan of that. Now going into another nuisance here. So another character that really gets to me that's very annoying is actually this evil Dante, is the way I like to call it, but it turns out it's his twin brother, Virgil. But the thing was that the reason is that he comes out of this like mirror, this evil mirror I like to call it, and again looks just looks like Dante and all that, and it almost kind of gave me sort of an Evil Dead, sorry, not Evil Dead, Army of Darkness feel with the whole evil Ash, good Ash kind of thing. The thing is, Virgil ends up being human form and then turns into kind of like this, you know, devil-like creature and all that. And the thing that gets me annoyed about that, not only are you fighting your own brother and you think maybe you should feel bad about that, I don't, is just how, you know, how annoying, how pissed off that it takes you like 4 different times to take this guy on. Because, you know, you injure him and you hurt him many, many times, but then he disappears. But he's so forgettable that he doesn't come back until like 6 or 7 missions later, and it's like, oh shit, this fucking asshole again. Okay, this time he better stay dead. No, he does it the second time, the third time, then finally you get him, I think it's the 4th time, like what, maybe like the last 2 missions before you gotta go, and they're like, finally, my brother's finally dead, take him out kind of thing, but he gets very annoying. In this game, I'm not a huge fan of like secret missions. Like certainly like you get timed on certain things to kill certain monsters and all that. But you know what? I did it a couple times. I think it's because I suck at it. This is just my preference on this, that I'm not a big fan of secret missions. I'll be curious if other people do or do not like them themselves and all that there. Now we're going to get to the big one, Trish. Okay, as much as I like her character and I really enjoy her, she pisses me off because when we finally get the reveal about her that she's actually working with the villain, the main villain and all that there, and it looks like because she failed, he's going to kill her, fine, end of Trish, I don't care, she can die. Moving on with Dante as we have been doing, and let's continue what we got to do by continuing kicking some ass and getting this game done possibility. Well, what happens is that Dante ends up trying to save Trish. Well, what happens is she ends up saving him. The final boss ends up shooting electric bolt at Dante. She pushes him out of the way and she gets the electric shock and all that. Like, oh geez, okay, this is where the redeeming's gonna come in. And I didn't fucking buy it one bit. I did not. I was like, oh, okay, so she tries to act like she's good and all that. Even though I liked her final line and she does survive in the game, I'm just like, it's tough to look by that, honestly. That, you know, this whole time you've been working with the bad guy. Maybe she could have been someone that you fought towards the end. Maybe she was the last one. You never know. But Dante doesn't kill her because she looks like her mother. Except the only thing, I mean, she looks like his mother. And the thing is that he's like, I'm not going to kill you because of that. But you know what? You may look like her, but you don't got her soul. And I like that line. That's where the seriousness comes in with Dante. And I actually like the way that actor delivers the line. I thought was really good on that there too. But just like, just wasn't my kind of thing on that there. Okay, and then I got 2 more to go here. How many times are we going to see Dante get fucking stabbed in the body, especially through the chest or stomach area? So what? He doesn't die. We know this. That the first 2 times were very shocking, and then the 3rd and 4th time it just got redundant. And I'm like, no, I don't give a damn. I don't care. You're just repeating yourself here. Wasn't exactly really a fan of that one. I'm just personally, I really was not a fan of that there. So, and then the final thing is when you fight the final boss, you fight him twice. You fight him up in the air, and then you fight him on land. And then of course that's where you kill him, is on land. So the thing is that really what bothers me is the up in space. I don't like anything. Maybe it's just I don't have you know, maybe my hand-eye coordination is not good when it comes to flying in space. Dante turns into the, you know, into his devil form and all that, and he's flying towards the bad guy while the bad guy's flying backwards and all that there. I'm just not a big fan of that. They're just like the whole, you know, side missions, secret missions and all that. I'm not a big fan of those and all that. Never really have been a fan of those ones there. I don't know, maybe just because they're a little difficult for me. But it's the same thing. I'm not a big fan of flying through those here. So anyways, my ranking on this, now when I do movies, I usually go 0 to 4 stars. This one I go up to 10, 0 to 10 here. I'm going to go, even with a lot of the negatives there, especially with the Trish thing, I can still buy it to a point, but I'm going to go 9.5 out of 10. I really love this game. Maybe because I'm still in a honeymoon stage with this game, but as I'm recording this, as you guys are watching this, this is what I really like. Things could change 6 months, a year from now kind of thing, but I really actually enjoy this game for what it is, and I'm very pleased with it. So, and I do actually want to shout out real quick, this video is dedicated to a good friend of mine, Mr. Thompson. I'm sure you recognize that name. I want to say, Mr. Thompson, thank you so much for recommending this to me and all that. I do appreciate it. And for Mr. Thompson and for everybody else, thank you for watching this video. And as always, stay awesome.